It won't hurt. All right, no.
Content because it's a neighbor's house that is burning and not our own. It might easily spread to ours. Ladies and gentlemen, it is necessary that I be here because forces and attitudes in our country have produced and perpetuated a strange phenomenon. Many of the governmental, social, and business institutions of America are practicing, either consciously or unconsciously, a discriminatory harassment and a subtle but insidious bias against Americans of Italian extraction. It is a controversial issue, that's for sure. I know it and you know it. Some well-intentioned people advise me not to get involved. It might not be too smart politically. Let me say here, I've always had contempt for the punks, the hoodlums and their bosses, and especially those of Italian ancestry who shame us. As a former police officer, I condemn their criminal acts, but I also vigorously condemn the attempts by segments of our society to stigmatize and intimidate Italian Americans by group guilt.
Thank you for the invitation to be here this afternoon. That's what they say, these liberal left intellectuals, these journalists and TV people who claim to be our conscious elite. They say that this country must be broken down, that it must be disorganized, that it has to be hacked to pieces because it's all wrong and it's got to be made all over again. By whom? By them, of course. But if you want to know something about this country and what's good about it, just listen to what this so-called conscience elite criticizes. If a communist kills a president, they find an excuse for it. If so-called students explode powerful bombs and burn down our colleges, they find an excuse for that. And if vicious revolutionaries kick a policeman senseless, they find an excuse for that. But if policemen try to stop a riot, if construction workers put on and put an end to the dishonoring of our flag, whether it be in Wall Street or at City Hall, if students who want to study sue the colleges open as I have done, if the overwhelming majority of American people show their love for this country and its traditional values, then right away the voices of panic are raised. For that bunch, the limousine elite and the conscience elite, what we are doing here today, pledging allegiance to our country with a show of Italian-American solidarity, that's bad for them. They would like to see us do just the opposite. They would like Italo-Americans to revolt against the system. They would like us to curse America, tear it down, and then the Leonard Bernsteins would be giving cocktail parties for us, and the Kingman Brewsters would be saying...
And that is the fact that when we get investigations without convictions, etc., that boil down to basically harassment, whether you're black or you're white or what, the bell rings for all of us. And we must all be united, because in unity there is forza, auguri, ciao.
Godfrey Cambridge, come on.
And data with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Buena fortuna.
Vote, and do not give your vote or your support to someone just because he's got an Italian name. Because we have those amongst us, like that clown from Staten Island by the name of Markey. get an Italian to rep another Italian, they call on Marky. Well, we should remember that when he goes to the polls again.
You stood home and you watched television. Band together. And when they don't give an Italian American a break, picket, boycott, do what your enemy does. Let us not forget that the Italian American has been an asset to this country, that we built it with our backs brick by brick. We didn't steal it, we didn't burn it. That's what's wrong. Everybody who wants to use us for a tool, well, the comedian is done. The tool using is finished. And if you, the Italian American, do not band together and work for your Italian American brother, then you deserve what you get. You deserve to stay at the bottom of the totem pole. Crying shame when we have so many great Italians like Fermi, who split the atom, like Bonaparte, the founder of the FBI. It's a shame when certain news media take the heritage of our people and destroy it. This is not an anti-FBI crowd. This is Italians wanting their place under the sun. And my party, Italian American, today, leave this center and you go home and forget. If you go home and you don't ban, if you don't boycott the news media, the television media, and boycott the products that make the movies like the Sicilians, boycott those who call us mafia, hurt them in the pocketbook.
You are one. Nobody could take you apart anymore. Come what no Italian has overcome in this country. God bless you and thank you.
God bless everybody. It's a worthy, worthy, wonderful thing we're doing. Thank you.
I'm very glad to be here for my Italian American friends, and whatever I can possibly do, it's my pleasure. And my good friend Joe and my friend Gregory, I'm here, pal. A salute. Funny about why we're here. It's a serious thing, and I'm proud. I'm proud just to look out. This is the greatest sight I've ever seen in my life, and I'm proud today to be of Italian heritage. I thank you.
6 months ago, and this is what should be happening throughout the world today. I'd like to do it for you. The title of the poem is "The Whole World is Crying." The whole world is crying, my friend. Could very well be the time of the end. Let man get together with God and let him live with love in his heart. Thank you very much. Good. God bless.
Como dalla ciga non ne cosa, che non è batte che ne non pensa, va bene di più belle che la si può vedere anche da naso, e lascialo che da me, che non ne cosa. Everybody now. Stupa bionda ci si la peste, che ne nada ma non vinta.
That's it. The leaders of today's demonstration say this is only the beginning. If their demands aren't satisfied, their protest may take the form of a march on Washington. Bill Brannigan, ABC News, New York.
That's it. Get him in there. Get him in there.
Let's just recreate the telephone conversation of yesterday. Tell me what factors are at play here, Joe Colombo becoming the hero to at least a certain number of Italians.
I think there are a variety of reasons for it, some of which go back to Italy, and some of which I think are characteristically a part of American society. Remember that most of the Italians who came to the United States came from southern Italy. And if you look at the culture of southern Italy, there are a couple of things there that are rather important. One is that the family is the only social institution in the south of Italy that makes any sense to the population. They've never been able to really organize any groups larger. In fact, if you look at mafia in Sicily, as we did, and look at other secret societies of that sort in other parts of southern Italy, what they really are is an imposition of the family pattern in a larger context. Southern Italians have always felt that the extended family, going beyond the actual nuclear family of mother, father, and children, is the best possible protection that an individual can have. Now, they've never been able to extend their families because economic and social conditions simply wouldn't allow it. So they've always yearned for this. And that's how mafia really started in Sicily. Now, in this country, when the immigrants came here, they had no way of associating themselves with general American society. They lived in ghettos, just as blacks and Puerto Ricans do now. And they began forming networks within those ghettos, which were based upon family. I think a second element is that, which are like somewhat like our cartoons enlarged with a singer singing about the great deeds of this bandit and that bandit. As recently as the 1950s, for example, Salvatore Giuliano, the bandit in Sicily, was very much loved and respected by the people. Something, by the way, you find in a lot of ghetto cultures elsewhere. The individual who is able to push against the establishment is looked up to. I think more than any politician, more than any intellectual, more than any leader in the Italian community has been able to form an organization for civil rights. As I mentioned to you before, the real problem is that the civil rights movement among Italians didn't start until after Black Power and Puerto Rican independence started to push itself. So I think these elements are there, and you see it in a variety of ways. Remember that at the Unity Day thing, for example, the little girl with the guitar singing the ballad about Joe Colombo and so on. So I think that his popularity comes partly from a holdover of Southern Italian culture among Italians in this country. And remember, his followership comes largely from working class Italians who do look upon their place in American society as somewhat less than it should be. Now, you add to that the fact that traditionally in American society, we have looked up to people like Jesse James, Dillinger, and so on, with a certain romantic feeling about what they've been able to do. So I think his popularity is a function of this. On the other hand, I think it's still important to say that he has managed to put together a very strong organization, which has been pushing for civil rights. So it's a very complicated business.
Let's talk specifically about the emergence as a public figure. That's not a usual thing for a puted mafia leader.
Right.
What role has that had in the popularization of the movement that he's set out?
Well, I think that there's little question that if he had been a politician, if he had been a university professor, pejorative way in terms of it's treated humorously in the press. Here's a guy who's reputed to be a big mafia boss, and he's starting the civil rights movement. So it's attracted a lot of publicity that way. I think it's important to remember, however, going back to what we said about familialism in Italian society, that he really did not emerge in any leadership position in civil rights until his son was arrested and charged with melting down silver coins for their value as silver ingots. And it was at that point that he emerged as a leader. And the organization just skyrocketed after that.
What was it in the act of picketing the FBI and so on? We were talking yesterday about the thumbing the nose. What was it in that picketing the FBI that caught the imagination of people?
I think a couple of things. One, I think there's a real feeling among many Italian Americans that they are being harassed by the Justice Department. Not in terms of individual harassment being followed or things of this sort. But if, again, you go back into the history of organized crime in the United States, every major ethnic group at some point has been involved in organized crime. During the early part of the century, the big gambling names, the big organized crime names tended to be Irish because the Irish were involved at that point. They then made it successfully. Organized crime tends to be one of the first steps out of the ghetto because you don't need any specialized training. You're protected by living in the ghetto because there's the antagonism towards the police. The Irish managed to make it out of the ghetto through organized crime to some extent, but then went on from there to politics and the priesthood and a variety of other experiences. During the 1920s, as you remember, most of the big names in organized crime tended to be Jewish names because, again, there was a large influx of Jews at that point. Again, they successfully went through the organized crime system and did go into business and industry.
What about in the recent 2 years? Or what was it in the FBI thing that suddenly caught the imagination of people?
I think just one more point about ethnic succession. Now, the Italians were just beginning to make it into legitimate business in the 1950s when the Kefauver investigations focused attention on their movement into big business. The concept being that when they go into business, as contrasted to previous ethnic groups, they take the mafia with them. So I think there's been a long, lingering feeling among times. And remember, back in 1891, for example.
All right, specifically on what about the FBI?
Now, I think that this long feeling of harassment on the part of Italians was coalesced at the point of Colombo's involvement, to feeling they have literally been charged with things which they have not been doing, so that there has been this harboring of feeling against the FBI. I think that was part of it. I think another large part of it, however, was having seen blacks and Puerto Ricans making it, they saw this as an attempt and as an opportunity, really, to make the same kinds of civil rights strides. So the FBI picketing gave them some focus for activities. But the League, of course, has done other things. They've been involved in other activities which have tended to make Italians feel that they have some involvement in civil rights also.
But what about this, the great line you were giving me yesterday about the thumbing the nose of the savage?
Well, then I think that the fact that since this, people talk about it as a folk hero. Okay. You see the people walking outside the hospital, for example.
Okay, the media role and media cut. Vince, I'm sorry. The media role in all of this.
Now, what the media, what's managed to happen there is he has been presented very much as an individual who is a folk hero. Tend to give him a kind of credence to people which go beyond what he's actually been able to do. So in a real sense, it's the media that's managed to present him in this fashion. The assassination attempt can only make this stronger because he follows in a tradition of assassinations, which makes him a hero.
Give me one more thing on the balladizing and so on.
And remember again that throughout southern Italy, the ballads, by the way, we have those same ballads about Americans. Those ballads, those legends, tend to build up the image of this individual as someone who, again, is able to do what he wants to do to help his people and to do it in spite of what the establishment says is going to happen.
I was just asking questions. Do you want to say anything, Commissioner?
Listen, we might as well just answer questions here. So,
I don't have a prepared statement.
Is there anything new you can tell us as to the status of the investigation?
Hey, would you tell yourself close together, please?
Actually, there is nothing startling that has been unearthed since yesterday. We're still trying to find the female that was with Johnson at the time of the shooting, and So we're looking in that direction. We have established the fact that the gun that was taken from Johnson's hand by the police is the gun that wounded Colombo.
What kind of a gun is that?
That's an automatic .765 caliber, foreign make.
Have you learned anything more about Johnson's background, who he is, what he was involved in?
We haven't learned too much about him. He was staying here in New York, but drifting around quite a bit. We haven't been able to learn anything about any sort of employment. He presented himself as a photographer, but there is no place that we can find that he worked as a photographer. We do know that he presented some sort of credentials yesterday that were from New Jersey as a press representative of the press, which allowed him into the frozen area in front of the speaker's platform. But we didn't find that. This was.
Is there any indication of any kind of underworld connections that he may have?
Do you know who killed Johnson?
We still do not know who killed Johnson, and we have not made any progress in connecting Johnson with any sort of underworld faction. It is very possible at this time, after speaking to a few people, it is very possible that Johnson did this on his own with one or two other people.
Any reason for that, do you think?
Well, when we know more about Johnson's background and his whereabouts just prior to the time of the shooting, then maybe we'll know a reason. But we do not have a motive.
Did any of those people...
gangland theory or possible nut theory or...
We're open to all theories at this time. There's the, as you say, a nut theory, and there's a gangland theory, and there's a revolutionary theory. They're all, one is as good as the other at this point. However, we have the gun that killed Johnson, yes.
Would you expand on what it was you were just saying? As to the theory?
Well, in connection with these theories, we have worked now for more than 24 hours, and we have not unearthed too much about Johnson or any connections whatsoever with any underworld factions, so that the theory of the entire occurrence being related to the underworld doesn't hold any water at this time.
Does that mean you're not going to pull in any more figures?
No, that does not mean that. We are still looking in that area, and we are going to speak to more so-called underworld figures.
Was Gallows or Carlo Gambino able to shed any more light on this?
No, they weren't able to help us at all.
They knew nothing of the events or possible motives surrounding the shooting of Mr. Colombo?
Well, when we spoke to them last night, of course they knew about it, just as everyone else did. But they did not know that it was going to happen before it happened. At least that's what they said.
You spoke about the gun that killed Johnson.
Please, I'll answer this question first.
You spoke of the gun that killed Johnson. Was it a police gun or a private gun?
The gun is, it's not owned or was never owned by any member of the police department.
Have you traced it? What do you think of the gun?
We have traced the gun from the time that it was manufactured through the hands of several different owners, at which time its history becomes a little hazy, and we're still working on that.
What is on that gun?
No, there are no fingerprints on the gun.
You spent some of this afternoon talking to Jerome Johnson's mother. Was she able to fill in the picture on his background, his biography?
Nothing to any degree that could help this investigation.
Chief, what are some of the avenues that you're pursuing to try and fill in on just who this guy was?
We're trying to locate people with whom he associated while he was here in New York City.
And in Los Angeles, too, are you following up there?
Well, his history of Los Angeles goes back quite a time. And unless we run out of all possibilities here in New York, I don't think we'll go to Los Angeles, although I do have some men in Boston right now.
You mentioned a female.
Yes.
Why in Boston? What's the Boston angle?
The Boston angle is this. Johnson was in Boston last week, and he rented a movie camera there. That's the camera that he had to enable to get him into the frozen area and take pictures yesterday. And just prior to the time that he shot Colombo, he was taking pictures of Colombo with this camera.
Did you develop them?
We haven't got the camera. And as a matter of fact, we're not too sure if there was film in the camera.
Chief, are you leaning more now to the theory that maybe this was the act of an individual or one or two people rather than the possibility that maybe it does have a definite link with the underworld? Is there more feeling one way than the other?
Well, feeling doesn't enter into it. Until such time as we can establish a definite link, we have to sort of lean toward the theory that it was a job of an individual with one or two cohorts.
Chief, what about the theory that it might have been Colombo's own men setting him up?
I don't hear you.
What about the theory that it might have been Colombo's own men setting him up? Isn't it true that his bodyguards that were normally standing next to him were not standing next to him yesterday when he was shot?
As far as I know, there were several of Colombo's close associates right nearby with him when he was shot.
Did the TV films taken by the private group filming the rally show you any blacks in the immediate area that you were trying to seek out?
We haven't been able to examine this film in detail as yet. It is still being processed.
Chief, have you been able to examine the film taken by a Japanese television group?
That's the film we were talking about.
Chief, what happened to the camera? Johnson's camera, Chief.
Johnson's camera disappeared.
Was it stolen, or do you think possibly an accomplice took the camera?
I have no idea.
But it disappeared, you don't have.
What about the gun that killed Johnson? Can you describe it, the caliber?
It's a .38 caliber revolver.
Have you any leads on any leads at all on his companion?
No, none whatsoever.
Chief, there was autopsy on Johnson indicate he was on narcotics or anything?
I really couldn't say. I know that it was not a police officer, and the only people that were inside the frozen area were either newspaper people or Colombo's people. So it was, that's the area where we'd have to look, among the press or Colombo's people.
Yesterday, a telephone call.
What condition is he in now?
He was described as critical when he went up, and I've had no change. So
were any other people treated for gunshot wounds in there?
There's been a lot happening. There was a DOA brought in. I don't know whether there's any connection at all.
Do you have an identification on the
I do not.
Has Colombo said anything since he's been brought into the hospital?
No, he hasn't.
How about the policeman who was brought in?
I don't know about that. I think there was just one brought in just recently, just a few minutes ago. I don't have any information on that.
What's your name? And,
my name is Sam Awaloof, Director of Public Relations for Roosevelt Hospital.
Have any of the members of the Colombo family been here? Have you spoken with them?
There have been members of the Colombo family. I did speak to the mother of the young Colombo's wife, and she went up to the second floor. I understand, although I didn't see them, that there are other members of the Colombo family.
Someone said there was blood on the younger Colombo. Was he hurt at all?
I didn't see him at all, Jack. I don't think he was, but I didn't see him at all.
Can you tell us if he's still in surgery?
The older Colombo is still in surgery, yes.
How long will it be before we know something, Doctor?
I don't know how long this operation will take. It may be in another hour. It's hard to tell, Jack.
How many doctors are in attendance in the operating room?
I don't know. I do know that there's a neurosurgeon, but I don't know how many doctors there are there.
How many? Where in the brain he was hit? Where in the head?
I don't.
How many wounds are there?
I don't know how many.
Thank you.
We had reports from Mr. Colombo. Oh no.
Back up. Team, back up.
I know what I'm doing. Watch out, please. Make room there. Make room. Excuse me. The name of the doctor. Come on, let us get out. Black or what? Get out of the way, please. Hold on. Let us out, please. Stand here, man. Get away. Come on. Get out.
All right, what's your name?
Ralph.
Ralph? Ralph, what do you think is the opinion about Joe Colombo? How important is he to the Italian community? What has he done?
He's helping the kids around the neighborhood and stuff, keep them out of the streets most of the time.
Pretty good guy.
I think so.
Starting baseball leagues for them. Just giving them oh, let me get on.
All right, just tell me, what do you think about Joe Colombo and his importance to the youth of this community or to the community? Huh? No comment?
Well, we don't know him personally.
No, but what do you think of him? You have an idea about him. What do you think?
I guess he's all right. He's Italian.
What we hear. From what we hear, he's all right. He's helping us out. Starting all kinds of clubs and everything. Try to help us. So he must be all right, no? Got people backing him. So can't be that bad.
Do you think that Joe Colombo is something of a hero in the community? Is he?
Yeah, I could say that. You know, why? Because he knew it was going to happen Monday, and he went anyway, knowing that he had people that disagreed with what he was doing, and he, he knew he might get shot or something, and he went out there.
What has he done really for the Italian community?
Well, as far as what? Anything?
Yeah. What is his importance? Why are so many people really concerned about him?
Oh, I couldn't answer that. I don't know. You'd have to ask the guys from up here. I'm from down the other way. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Where's that guy that told everybody was telling me what a talker he was? Spell it.
T-R-O-I-A-N-O.
Anthony. All right, Anthony. What about Joe Colombo? Why is this massive outpouring of feeling for him at this time? What is he doing?
I think he's done wonders for the community. Tremendous amount of good.
What kind of?
Well, we just had a big blood drive here just 3 weeks ago. Just in this local community here, we raised over 100 pints for the Leukemia Foundation. That's just one of the things he inspired. And many, many more things. Baseball teams. In fact, we got 4 baseball teams up in PGA. And there's 2 teams in first place. One is 8-0, one is 5-3. Magnificent. These kids just come off the street. Organized baseball. Go on all day. It would take all my time if I got to tell you all the things he's done. A camp, a tremendous camp. Feed anybody. Any color or creed. No money. Doesn't cost a child a dime. I can continue going on and on and on. How many great things he's done.
Would you regard him as something of a folk hero in the community?
The kids are jumping up behind him. It's going to make them look
Kids,
bad.
please don't do that.
So, out of the way from the back there.
Okay. Would you regard him as something of a hero in the community?
A hero? No, I just think that he's done a lot of good things, and people look up to him, all the things he started and he's accomplished.
Isn't that a certain kind of heroism?
Well, I think it's American heroism.
Right.
Exactly Americanism. Everybody likes a great man. Does wonders for the children. Leukemia Foundation. There's so many things he's done. It's unbelievable. If you go on, like I say, if you're going to sit down for me about an hour to tell you all the things he's done and all the things he started.
What factor do you think the FBI, of course, calls him mafia leader and so on? What role do you think that plays in the reaction of the community to him?
Well, unfortunately, I don't know anything about that particular aspect of it, but all I know is that I met Mr. Colombo about a year ago, and I can just tell you from what I know for about a year ago. He's just done wonders. That's all I can say about Colombo. Now, anything else, I don't know, but I think he's just a tremendous man for the community and for the country. He's inspired a lot of people to do good.
Good. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I got that radio
Hey, cut them off. Don't worry about it.
For me too much now.
Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Don't apologize. Don't rush it. Otherwise you have to pay. This is a store on Ranzoli. They made over $1 million on Ranzoli. It's all taken on out the revenue. This is the only neighborhood in New York City that has place on out the revenue. This is it. And I haven't made 2 cents. They made over $1 million on Ranzoli right here. I haven't made 2 cents. This is a store that's gonna make history right here. This is the only store. Mario Biaggi running on the same ticket with Sammy Davis Jr. That's a good combination. It's a winning combination. It's a true American combination. Take it from me, as I met Sammy, he's my best friend. Mario Biaggi, you can't get a better man. He's for the people all the time. I love him. He's like Biaggi. He's going to be your next mayor.
Excuse me. Let me ask you about
Yes,
another subject. Italian-American Unity Day down there.
Yes, sir.
Joe Colombo got shot and
Yes,
so
sir.
on. What do you think about Joe Colombo? Is he good or bad for the Italian community?
Well, he's good for the Italian public. He's good for what he stands for. What went on there, we're not responsible. We don't know what went on.
No, I'm talking about Joe the man.
Joe the man for the Italian public, he's very good. He's done more for the Italian people than anyone else in New York City.
What has he done?
Well, he's number one. He's unity. Got us together. He's got us fighting together, which is more than we ever had. He's gained us respect. You know, you go back, the Italians were just scuffle, thrown in the back, a broom, and horse work. But now we gain a little more respect. Colombo stands for a good thing. With time, you're going to read more about this man. I hope he pulls through. What he stands for, he means a lot. He tries the best he can. He's had enough money. He don't need money. He means well for the Italian public. Listen to me. And for all humanity. He doesn't want any trouble. He wants to stand something good for all the Italians and everyone else.
What do you think about the FBI calling him a mafia boss and so on? Is that good?
No, I got news for you. They overdo it. They overdo it.
No, Cosa Nostra.
No.
What do you mean to Cosa Nostra? Wait a minute.
Francis, don't get excited. Francis, don't get excited. Sat down with Colombo or his representatives. You'll have more accomplished than fighting with newspaper and all this fight and words. Just get together and have a mutual understanding. You'll get more this way than you will by calling each other's names or picketing. Just sit down, have a good meeting between Colombo and the FBI. They're all Americans. That's my opinion. Viva Colombo! Good in this world. We don't want to harm it. We love a family. We like to eat, sleep. No one loves people like we do. We love to be a family man. That's what we believe in. We like to fight for our rights. That's it. We don't look for any trouble. If it comes our way, look out.
we mean well in this world. Believe me, the Italians stand for a lot in this country.
Exactly.
And they are starting to find out we are the pioneers of this business.
Right.
Anywhere we go.
Italian number one.
Number one.
Number one.
You want my honest opinion? My honest opinion? America's number one, in my opinion. Forget about it.
Vive America and Italia too.
America takes in everything.
And Colombo helps the Italian community.
Yes, he sort of gives us incentive. Gives us something to fight for. And everything in every day and age, we need a leader. We have someone to be a leader, and we're going to go right. We're going to fight, and the very best we have, the utmost. We're going to try to do the best we can for Colombo. We're behind it. God help him. I hope he regains consciousness. But I know that we have a lot of people behind him. If it's not Colombo, it's going to be someone else. We're going to appoint someone else to take his place.
Put it well, Ralph. Very well.
Thank you. Right along. Would you believe it? You couldn't find a finer neighborhood in all the world. This is happiness. When you say unity, number one, it doesn't mean just Italians. It means each and every one of you. If I were Irish, anything else, Negro, black, purple, I am an American. I believe America first, then whatever you want to say next. But I'm still an American. Who knows? Everyone.
Italia people.
We all.
Italia people.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Everyone, Francis.
Back to me coming.
All right, what do you think about Colombo?
He united us. He formed a club. He's helping a lot of people. We started a daycare center and a lot of other things. So I think Joe Colombo's a good man, and I don't think what happened to him yesterday was very nice at all.
Does it bother you at all that the FBI refers to him as a mafia leader?
Yes, it does, because when they refer to him as mafia, it's Italian. But it ain't. There ain't a mafia. There isn't a mafia.
All right. Any other opinion? Just a second. Wait. Just a second.
It's a very good cause to unite the people, and they're starting a day camp for children upstate, which is something very beautiful. All kids, every color, black, white, Jewish, Irish, Italian, they're all going upstate because we're supporting. These are all people, common working people, helping one cause to unite, to live in peace, which is a very big thing today.
Explain why a man who is regarded by law officials as being... No clowning, please. Why do you think a man who is regarded by law officials as being an underworld character should have the respect that Colombo has?
Well, you know, police accuse a lot of people of a lot of things. To us, he's a decent man. We've never seen him do anything wrong. We never seen him do anything wrong to our people, to any people. You know, you could accuse somebody of doing something, but proving it is a different thing. And he has never gone to jail. So you can't say he's really what they say he is.
Yeah, and he's been helping a lot of people. So you can't say what the cops say and everybody else says about him. Because he's a good man. He's helping the people. And when a person helps the people, he's good. He's helping us. He helps us with a daycare center over here in this neighborhood, the camp upstate, a lot of other things. So I feel Joe Colombo is a very good man, and what happened to him yesterday was uncalled for, totally uncalled for. What they did to him was a shame, because he's such a good man. If I met him a couple of times, not really, I just saw him, I heard him talk, and when he talks, you gotta believe in him, because he talks so sincerely. And when a person's sincere like him, you gotta believe in him. That's how I feel.
They should have never done what they did.
They should have never done it.
Anybody else? I thought there was someone here telling me.
I work for YSA for the city, and just this morning with Chapter 4, I think it's 13 or 14, the one in the Bronx, had a meeting with some of the police officials, and they cooperate with them very well doing racial incidents in this community, and they're really cooperating with them. They're trying to help the police, and they're trying to the Italian American League, Civil Rights League from this community, and they cooperate. We had a meeting this morning with what's his name?
That's right. All right. What do you think of Colombo and what he has done for the Italian community?
I think he's done. He finally united the Italian people together. Gave them a cause to go for, and they've gone for it. And I think it's working out wonderful.
Fine. Don't.
But I don't speak English.
That's all right. You do all right. What do you think about it? What do you think about Colombo?
Colombo's a great day. Great day. Columbus Day. A good man, Colombo. Very good.
And what did happen to him was really uncalled for. The Italian people, if they stick together, they can unite, because the picture painted of them is not a true picture of the true Italian person. They're depicted as gangsters, racketeers, but we also have a great number of scientists, doctors, lawyers, whatever you have, businessmen, mafia-connected people, or let's say mob.
Don't worry about any incidents. Please be calm. Stand in your places. These are the obstacles that they are putting in our way. Everybody back here. Show them that we Italian Americans will not be moved. We are determined people. Let me get under it. Everybody, get back. Get back. This is what we've been telling you for the past year. Well, my hands are obstacles no matter what they try to do to us. Because you people have said and learned. I will show the colors. I will show our colors. Dearest friends who are not here to speak for themselves, I'm speaking for Anthony Colombo, the Vice President of our organization. He will say to you, because of this tragedy this morning, we must stick together more so than ever. We must unite in our organization. We must have all people of all ethnic groups join our organization to make it great. Because our organization is great. We are giving our lives to prove it for you people, you the Italian Americans and friends. And here we stand before you with an open heart in defiance of all the obstacles that are put before us. United to one, stand side by side. And don't worry about it, our captains will take care of them. Don't worry about any incidents. A disgrace happened. An Italian American was shot by a fanatic who many times is protected. We have proven that the Italian people has stuck together, but it's our leadership that has not stuck together. You must make demands of the people that we have elected to represent us. There's nothing wrong with our unity. The only thing that is wrong is where we are sold out, where we are betrayed. And as I said last year, here in New York, there are no Italian Americans in the Board of Education. What have you done about it? Who have you boycotted? Have you boycotted the newspapers, the programs that call you mafia, Cosa Nostra? Do you still buy the newspaper who call you guineas, wops, dagos? Then it's your fault that we're on the bottom of the list. It's your fault because we don't fight.
You must make this a success, not only for him, but for your children and yourselves. We must show the world that we are one, and we will remain one. You must never allow what's been started here in this past year to be destroyed by those enemies who would want to see the Italian-American people disunited. You have come together, you must stay together and fight together. Strange things out and new materials are being brought in to show what the Italian-American is really all about. First time in the history of New York City, 1,000 Italian Americans and their friends picketed the Board of Education, and we demanded our equal representation, and we will have it. I leave you with one word. Never attain your rights by denying rights to others, but work with men of goodwill of all backgrounds and all faiths and all religions and all colors to cause equality and the end of discrimination for all. Let it be said that the Italian Americans ended discrimination in the United States for everyone. Yes, he came to us and he said, here is our hand in friendship. I took that hand and I was proud to take it. Because we know that you will march with us in our struggles also. God bless each and every one here, and let's go forward to build the kind of America which is meaningful. And that America can only be built when each and every people has pride in himself and respect for one another. Thank you.
Hospital regarding Mr. Colombo's condition. We're going to ask Father Giganti to please come up to the microphone.
My dear friends, I see some people that are up here have left us for probably of their own business. We will not judge them. Today is a great day for us, and a horrible event occurred during it. But I can assure you that if Joey Colombo were here, a man that has given his life to this league and to the unification of all Italians, he would want us all to stay and enjoy this great day. I went back to the hospital, and right now, Judge O, his wife, and his sons are all together on the second floor, just waiting and praying and hoping that God will see fit to save Joe. In the meantime, Joe is upstairs in the operating room with some of the best surgeons, neurosurgeons around the city, helping him to make it. And I give you this message because I believe that if we believe that he can make it, he can make it. Let's say another prayer for Joe Colombo.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. And let us beseech Our Lady, who remembers us so often. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And if you forgot to pray, you don't remember how to pray, please begin to pray for Job. St. Jude, help him. St. Jude, save him. God bless us.
Again, what will be the effect of this incident on the Italian Americans in the New York area?
Well, I'm certain, in view of the Italo-Americans' fundamental individualist nature, that this incident will serve to bring them together. They band together in the face of adversity. That's why they're here today. They've endured intolerance, bigotry, and discrimination for just too long. This is a manifestation of their feeling and that connection. What occurred today will bring them even closer together. But that's not as important as bringing the people of the nation together, because what happened today was ostensibly done for the purpose of dividing people. I relate it to the cold-blooded execution of the two police officers, Waverly Jones, a black officer, and Joseph Pizzantini, a white officer. That was done for the purpose of dividing the community, causing dissension. Revolutionary elements, such as performed the assault today and executed those officers, only prosper on division in the community. And it's their purpose to plant that seed, and they could well have done it today, except that I'm certain that the people will respond in a proper fashion. They will not fix blame on a people, as they themselves have been blamed for the conduct of a few of theirs. They will fix it on those culprits who did this, and will rely on due process to take care of those people. The important thing, if we're to learn anything today, is that we do have hate, bigotry, hostility in the nation. It should be eliminated. With the united people, with the tranquil people, with the loving people, revolutionaries could not thrive and would have to wither away and die and disappear from the face of America.
It's entirely likely that the second annual Italian-American Unity Day will be remembered as the day Joe Colombo was shot. But it is also likely that the shooting will do a lot to bring the Italian-American community together. They're saying today, we're one, and we're not going to be second-class citizens again. David Snell, ABC News, New York.